Hello, Fundamentals of Oral Skills class. This is Professor Reed coming at you. I have a couple quick things I want to share with you today. I just want to give you a few different strategies for counting rhythms. And so, as we're looking at rhythms and as you're hearing rhythms, we need to be able to count them accurately. And there's a couple different systems that I want to share with you. The first one that I'm going to share with you is the most common way to count rhythms. And it's one we've went over before, but I just want to make sure that we break it down and make sure everybody's on the same page. And then I'm going to give you a couple other strategies in case this one maybe isn't the most comfortable to you. The most important thing is to be able to do it accurately. As you progress through oral skills, you are going to need to be able to use this first system that I'm teaching you. But some of the other systems that I'll teach you may help inform the first system. So I've got a tree here of all sorts of different rhythms and different rhythmic values. They all equal 4 entire beats. So we know our whole note gives us 4 beats. 2 half notes give us 4 beats. 4 quarter notes give us 4 beats. 8 eighth notes give us 4 beats. We have 12 triplet eighth notes give us 4 beats, and 16 16th notes give us 4 beats. So the most common way to count is the one E and a system. And so the way we would count that, if I'm going to start maybe on this whole note, we would count 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a little misleading, but we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and knowing that it's a sustained note that sustains the entire time. If I were going to write that on the board, I would probably write that like this: 1-2-3-4, and I would put all of this. You know what? I would not. I'm just going to write the 1-2-3-4. That way it shows that it's all connected. 1-2-3-4 shows that it's a connected sound. And so here, under the half notes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And the dashes again show that it's connected. Okay? We have quarter notes. I would count these as 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are no dashes because they are 4 different sounds. Here under the eighth notes, hopefully all this is familiar, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so in time we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, the triplets. The most common way we're going to count these is 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and is how the triplets would work. And then we call it the one E and a system because of the 16th notes. We're going to say 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and so as I'm going all the way down the rhythm chart, I'm going to start at the top and take us all the way down until we get 1-2-3-4, 1-2-3-4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. That's how the rhythms break down so that we can count in this one E and a system. And so as you're seeing rhythms like I've maybe got over here, the way we would count these is we would start on just looking just at the first line. 1, 2, 3-4, 1 and 2, 3 E and 4. So let's write that up here. So we have 1, 2, 3-4 because that makes sound the entire time. 1 and 2, 3 E and 4. Okay, let's look at the second one. Now, I will make the caveat that different folks will count triplets differently because there's not really a standardized way to count the triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and is common. Also common is 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly. There's not really a right or wrong way in this system to count triplets, but we'll use the andas because that is one of the very most common ways to count it. So how would we count the second line? We get 1 and a 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and, oh, I made an error in the writing. I'm going to fix that now. Got a little careless. And go again here. 1 and a 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 dash 3 dash 4. So let's write that in. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 e and 2 dash 3 dash 4. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So our triplet, 1 and 2 is the quarter note, 3 and pair of eighth notes, 4 and pair of eighth notes, 1 e and 4 sixteenths together, and then 2 dash 3 dash 4 because we have that dotted half note to get us 3 beats. Most common counting system and some different practical ways to use that. Now, I want to take you to a different counting system that I like to use. I'm going to erase all of these count structures. We're going to use the same information, just with a different counting system. Okay, so now we're looking at a kind of a clean slate here. And so the next counting system that I want to share with you is one that's just based purely in numbers. And there's no like e's and ands and uhs. It's all ones, twos, threes, fours, whatever like that. Okay? And so the way that this one's going to work is if we start here at the whole note, it's simply we're going to call it 1. We're going to hold it for 4 beats. We're going to go ready, go. 1. Again, ready, go. 1. And you're just sustaining the sound as it would sound. Okay, here we have 2 more ones. 1, 1. They last for 2 beats each. 1, 1. What do we think is going to happen next? This makes a lot of sense. 1, 1, 1, 1. And here's where it starts to get a little different. The 1 resembles the pulse. And so anything that's longer than the pulse is just going to sustain the sound. But anything shorter than the pulse is where we start to change the numbers. So here, in the quarter notes, we just get 1, 1, 1, 1, because that is the pulse. On the next line, we have the eighth notes. We get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. On the triplets, this is a lot easier. We get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And on the 16th notes, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes a lot of sense because the triplets have 3 sounds. We're counting to 3. The 16th notes have 4 sounds. We're counting to 4. Makes a lot of sense. So that might make doing some of these a little easier for some of you. So as we're going through this, instead of going 1, 2, 3, dash 4, the way we did in the last one, we're dealing with 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So let's look at this first line again. Let's do it together. Ready, go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's look at the second line. Triplet, quarter note, eighth notes, sixteenths, and dotted half. Here we go. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Off. Let's take this again. I'm going to write this one in. 1, 2, 3, because that's all one beat. And then the next beat is just 1. The next beat we get 1, 2. The next beat we get 1, 2. Then I get 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I get a really long one. So that one's going to go ready now. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If you'll notice, every time I'm snapping, every time I have the beat, I'm saying the number 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Because the 1 symbolizes that's the pulse. That's the rhythm, the motor that's keeping it all rocking and rolling. Okay, I like this counting system when I'm dealing with complex rhythms. Uh, um, this sometimes can be easier for folks to understand, oh, this is how the rhythm actually sounds, because that's what's really important. Okay, I'm going to erase it one more time and show you one last counting system that I think can be pretty helpful. Okay, last counting system that I think can be helpful for some folks. If one EN is or maybe is a little confusing, that is the primary one that we are going to be using in the course, so that's one that you need to know. The 1, 2, 3, 4 system can be really helpful to break down a rhythm, and then you can learn how to count it in the 1 EN system. But this one has nothing to do with numbers at all, and it has instead to do with words. And sometimes reading rhythms is a lot like reading language. When you're reading the word music, you don't read the M and the U and the S and the I and the C. You read the word as a whole. So similarly, when we're reading music, we need to read the rhythms as a whole. We don't read each individual note. And sometimes the one EN system can make us slow down and think about them as individual notes versus a word, and that's how we build sentences and phrases. So this is a cool system to use. I'm going to start down here at the bottom on this one. And so we have that's the rhythm that we're trying to make. So I'm going to use fruit, and we can use the word watermelon, 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 watermelon. We can say watermelon. It has 4 syllables, 4 even syllables, and that makes a lot of sense. We can just have watermelon sound here. The triplets: blueberry, 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 blueberry. 3 syllables. It matches. It makes a lot of sense. So I'm using fruit here. Watermelon, blueberry, apple. Okay, again, it's about seeing these pair of eighth notes. I know what it sounds like, and it's going to sound like something I already used, the word apple. For the quarter notes, I could use the word pie. I could use jam, plum, a 1 syllable word that matches apple pie, apple pie, apple plum, apple jam, whatever. Same thing with the long notes. These are quite a bit easier to navigate how long they should be held, and so we can just say like pie, 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 pie. You can do something like that. I don't really have anything special for those, but for these, that may make counting the rhythms a little easier. So let's apply this over here, and let's agree that we're going to use the word pie for the quarter notes. So here we have pie, 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 apple, pie, watermelon, pie. Here we go. 2, ready, go. Pie, 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 apple pie, watermelon pie. Maybe that's an easier way to think about how to deal with some of the rhythms. Let's look at the second one. Blueberry, pie, apple, apple, watermelon pie. Okay, let's check this out. Blueberry pie, apple, apple, watermelon pie. Off. Let's take that again. 2, ready, go. Blueberry pie, apple, apple, watermelon pie. I hope you get something out of these 3 counting systems. These are just 3 of many different types of counting systems. The goal is that you can see a rhythm and understand exactly how to count it. That's really going to help a lot. The reverse is a process that we're going to use in class quite a bit of hearing a rhythm, and then your job is writing it down. And so as we spend time working on these both of these concepts, the listening to it and writing it down, also seeing it and being able to count it or play it back. That's important. Find a system that works for you. Know that the first one that we talked about, the one ENDA system, is the primary system that we're going to use mostly in class, and you'll use throughout your oral skills sequence. Thanks. Have a great day. See ya.